Good morning, Children's Church. It's Elder Rita. Hey, I wanted to tell you a story, a very funny story about one of the vacations that my son took. We would tell this story over and over again in our family whenever we would gather, about a time where my son went on a trip to Florida with his grandmother and his uncle. And so they were very tired, and my son had to entertain himself for many hours as he was riding down the road, and so he was a sound effects man. So all of a sudden, they were on this very long bridge, and my mother said, "Where am I going to pull over? Where am I going to pull over? There's a siren. The police are going to pull us over." And my brother said, "Mom, believe it or not, that was Greg making the sound of a policeman." I hope you enjoyed that story.
So one of my favorite experiences actually on a road trip was something that happened recently. Some of the children's church teachers might actually remember this, but it was actually a road trip that we were coming back from St. Joe for 8 count and put in a GPS to head back to the church address and everything, and we kept driving. We started to notice that we took a different route that we normally did when we was coming into town, but we continued going. We thought maybe it was a shortcut. Well, we got to the destination and we actually started to realize that we were in Leavenworth, Kansas, and not Kansas City, Kansas. So we looked at the GPS and we actually noticed that it was the address of Walker Avenue in Leavenworth and not Walker Avenue in Kansas City, Kansas. So we drove completely out of the way, completely somewhere different. But it was by far the funniest trip that I've ever been on.
All right, got my keys, got my purse. We're good to go. Well, good morning. Welcome to the New Bethel Church Virtual Children's Ministry Service. Today's lesson is called Summer Vacation. Have you ever gone on a road trip for a vacation? Well, buckle up because we are about to go for a ride. But first, let's give God some praise.
Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the the grave to the sky, Lord, I lift your name on high. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky, Lord, I lift your name on high.
At some point, we all have gone on a road trip. Perhaps it was a short trip to Grandma and Grandpa's house, or a long trip to the beach. Between bathroom breaks, mealtime breaks, and just wanting to get out and stretch your legs, we often start to complain and grumble, especially on those long trips. You know, I think Pastor Sean and his family are on a road trip right now. Let's see how it's going.
Are we there yet?
No, we're not there yet.
Are we there yet now?
No, Amaya, we're not there yet.
Are we there?
You just asked that a second ago. If we were not there yet then, we are not there now.
I need to use the restroom, Daddy.
We just had a potty break. We just stopped and had a potty break. Surely you don't have to use the bathroom again.
I know, but I have an emergency.
Well, your emergency is going to have to wait. We'll stop a little later on down the highway.
Can we play the radio?
We're like in the middle of nowhere. There is no radio signal. We're like in the wilderness.
May we listen to Michael Jackson?
Bubby, how are we going to listen to Michael Jackson and there is no radio signal?
On your phone?
Well, if there is no radio signal, I'm pretty sure there's no data signal either.
Do you even know where we are?
Well, sort of.
What do you mean, sort of?
Well, I know we're going to the promised land.
And how far is that?
I don't know how far
Been
that
driving
is.
for miles.
I don't know how far it is.
May we watch TV?
You always want to watch TV. We are not watching TV.
Are we there yet?
No, we're not there yet. Oh my goodness, God is going to supply our needs.
So you don't have any idea how to get to this land or where this land is?
I don't know where it's at.
And you don't know how to get there?
No, I'm following the leading of the Lord.
Well, I know who else is leading you can follow. How about OnStar or Google Maps, for Christ's sake?
We do not have OnStar, so I can't follow OnStar, and I don't need Google Maps. I mean, walking map, hello.
Yeah, GPS. That's the reason why we've been driving for miles. Where are we going?
We're going to the promised land. And do you see that pillar of cloud out there? You see that pillar of cloud? God is in that cloud, and that's what I'm following.
I need to use the restroom.
We are not stopping. Not anytime. So maybe we'll stop at the next exit.
Are we there yet?
No, we're not there yet. Can you please give Destin a snack or something?
Well, the kids are hungry. He's got to go potty. And we're getting tired of driving to a place that you don't know. You're following this pillar. And what about when it gets night? What are you going to follow?
Well, he'll send us a pillar of fire at night. We'll be able to follow him then.
Oh, great. We'll be driving down I-70 following a pillar of fire. How safe is that?
Oh, my
Dear
goodness.
Destin.
Well, we're going to keep following God. And can you please give Destin something to snack on?
Pass this to your brother, please.
Use the restroom.
Oh, my goodness. I just said we're going to stop at the next exit. Okay?
Are we there yet?
We are not there yet. Oh. Listen.
I already went.
Oh, we're not there yet. We just left out of Egypt, and we have taken you from slavery and bondage and all of that stuff. We're taking you to the promised land, to a land that's flowing with milk and honey. And all since we left, the only thing you guys can do is wonder if we're there yet. I gotta go potty. I'm hungry.
You expect us to just sit and be okay with you following something that you have no idea where it's leading you?
I'm following God. And listen, God has delivered us. He's delivered us. And he's taken us to a land that's flowing with milk and honey. He's going to supply our food needs. There's going to be toilets there. There's going to be food there. There's going to be shelter there. There's going to be snacks for Destin there.
Yeah, because we're finding it hard to believe.
Well, I tell you what. If you guys don't quit complaining and murmuring and having all of these requests, I'm going to turn this truck around, take you back to Egypt.
Great.
Good.
Hi guys, and happy Sunday. I look forward to this every week. Okay, so today our topic is going to challenge you to use your imagination. Okay, because of the way things are right now, we can't take trips as easily as we used to. So we're gonna take them in our mind, okay? So what I need you to do at this very moment is to think of your most favorite trip or vacation you've ever had. Think about it now. Do you have it? Okay, now that you have what that trip was, I want you to think about how you got there. What was your transportation? Did you drive? Did you fly? Did you take a train? Did you take a bus? Did you take a boat? How did you get there? And you're probably thinking, Miss Shannon, why are you even asking me that? Because how you got there is important. Did you know that? And it's because that part of the trip, there are so many memories, so much fun. Think about the laughs that you have, the snacks you were able to eat, the different restaurants you were able to go to. All these different things make the trip amazing. Now, travel is very important because it gets us from where we are to where we want to go. Now, vacation is a super amazing reason to travel, but you travel just in the city. Whether you're going from home to school, from home to the store, no matter where you're going, you're traveling. You could even be walking with that, right? But what's so cool now is that it's harder to get lost than it ever was before. Before, people would have to use maps. They would have to look at the stars. They would have to use different ways to show them different directions because they didn't have a super nifty gadget that we have now called a GPS. And I'm going to show you how this works right now. Now, some of you probably already know because your parents or your family has one, right? But I'm going to see if Siri can help me get to one of our most favorite places. Are you ready? Okay. Hey Siri, can you give me directions to the New Bethel Church?
Getting directions to New Bethel Church.
So, what's so cool about the GPS is that not only does she give me the directions, she tells me how long it's going to take me to get there, what the distance is in miles, and what time I'm going to get there. But if I make a wrong turn or if I get lost, she has to start all the way over every single time. And it makes the trip that was supposed to be 15 minutes, then I could look up and it could be 20, 25, 30, because I didn't follow Siri's directions. Now, I'm going to tell you about a group of people who also didn't follow directions, who made a trip that was only supposed to take a short amount of time take way longer. And the choices that they made after they were able to leave the horrible life that they were living. So I want you to pay attention to the cartoon that's coming up, because you know I'm going to have some questions and I want you to be able to answer them, okay? Pay attention.
The Faithful Hall of Fame, Moses. This is Moses, who was an Israelite born in Egypt in a time when Israelite boys were not supposed to live.
Wait, huh?
Moses, however, grew up in the palace of the Pharaoh, the very man who was enslaving the Israelite people. When Moses grew up, he made a big mistake and fled Egypt to live with the Midianites. But God called Moses back to Egypt to deliver his people with the help of his brother Aaron. After God showed his miraculous power in Egypt, he led the Israelites through the Red Sea and towards the Promised Land. They followed God, who showed himself as a cloud by day and fire by night. As God led them through the wilderness, the Israelites became thirsty and hungry. They complained to Moses and Aaron and said, "If only we had died in Egypt." God said to Moses that he would provide for his people. Each morning they awoke and found manna for the day.
What's that?
And each night God gave them meat. The people were still thirsty, and they were mad at Moses, saying, "Did you bring us out here to die of thirst?" So Moses cried out to God, and God told Moses to strike a rock, and water came flowing out of it for the people to drink. And so the Lord provided for his people's needs. After traveling in the desert for 3 months, they came to Mount Sinai, and God called Moses from the top of the mountain. God spoke to Moses there of the future of his people and reminded him of the miracles of the past. After 3 days, there was thunder and lightning as a thick cloud covered the mountain. The people heard a loud trumpet blast. And Moses led people to the foot of the mountain to meet with God. God told them how his people were to live and how they were to honor him and respect each other. The Israelites had seen for themselves that God had spoken to Moses from heaven. These rules that God told them are called the 10 Commandments. And the Israelites feared God, for his mighty power had brought them out of slavery and provided for them in the desert.
Welcome back. Okay, I know you were paying attention, so these questions are going to be a breeze. Now, Moses was there, right? He was there to lead the Israelites, which are God's children, out of Egypt because they were there as slaves for Pharaoh. So God did all these wonderful miracles to get them out of Egypt. And then while they're traveling, right, it's time for the road trip, theirs just happens to be on foot. They start complaining. It seemed like they had a problem with everything that was going on. They were upset because they were hungry. And then God gave them food. They even had the nerve to say, "We should have stayed in Egypt." Can you believe that? They felt like that because things weren't going the way that they wanted to, they were better off in slavery. How sad is that? So now I want you to think about you. Do you complain a lot? Yeah, we all do, right? We all have times when we complain. Adults too. But now I want you to think about traveling again. When you are on your way to a destination, it doesn't matter if you're going from here to another city or another state or just from home to the store. Do you complain or do you enjoy the ride? Are you a kid who says, I'm hungry. Oh my gosh, when are we going to get there?
I'm so sleepy.
It's hot. Do you complain or do you enjoy the ride? Because I gotta let you in on a little secret. 2 secrets actually. The first is God cares about your feelings. So just like he cared about the Israelites' feelings, he cares about yours. He understands that when we complain, it's because things are different and they're not going the way that we want. The Israelites thought that when they left Egypt and went to the land that God promised them, that it was going to be easy, they would get there really fast, and they would be able to start their new lives and everything would be all good. They were excited, but they didn't realize how long that would take and how many changes they would have to go through and how uncomfortable it could be. Same thing with us. When we're trying to get somewhere, sometimes it's frustrating. But when we complain, we miss out on that whole time that we're spending in the transportation and the fun and the memories we could be having. And so that second secret is, when you complain, you know what you're actually telling God? I know better than you. You're not doing things my way, so you're doing it wrong. Ouch, right? And you're like, no, I would never tell God that I know better than him. Who am I? Why would I say that? But that's what complaining is. You know what time it is? Challenge time! I'm thinking you guys probably already know what I'm going to challenge you to do. But I'm going to say it anyway, just to be safe. This week, me too, we're going to work on not complaining. So every time you feel yourself about to complain about something, I want you to turn it into gratitude. I want you to find something that you're thankful for, something that you're happy about that you have. So instead of complaining, be grateful. That's your challenge for the week. That's my challenge for the week too. And I want you to think about how you feel after the week is over. I'm sure you're going to feel happier because you're not going to be so down in the dumps and looking for negative things. You're going to look on the happy side, the bright side. So remember, God cares about how you feel, but just think about when you complain. Does it fix or change anything? It doesn't make it go faster? Or does it just break you down? So let's close in our prayer. And I know you guys are going to be so successful with the challenge this week. All right, bow your heads and close your eyes, and don't forget to repeat after me. Dear God, thank you for being faithful, that we can always trust you, and for loving us. In Jesus' name, amen.